if you're running Facebook ads for your e-commerce business, specifically a drop shipping business, then this is something that you have to pay attention to. And fortunately, I was right, and this is bad news for you. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about these customer survey forms that Facebook is rolling out to your customers' timeline to ask them if they were satisfied with their purchase, dissatisfied with your purchase, or neutral or other. So the problem is Facebook is collecting all of this information on us and on our ads that we're running to our consumers. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but they're collecting all this information and posing it in such a way in these customer feedback forms that it really presents it in a negative light. And I'll go into that in just a second. But what they're doing is, this was rolled out back in June 2018, and they have really started to push this in the last couple of months. We've seen here in 2019, really starting in the summer of 2019, a lot of people have started to see these feedback forms or surveys in their timeline. And again, it asks the customer, did you buy a product from such and such marketplace? This is Jasper's Market as an example on here. And if you say yes, then they start rolling you through a series of questions on their survey that says, were you satisfied with it? Were you dissatisfied with it? Was it other or neutral? And then if you answer dissatisfied or satisfied with it, the next question literally says, which of these were you least happy with? As if to say that they're implying that there's a negative connotation with your buying experience with your customer somewhere. They could have changed the phrase of that question, because I think that puts it into people's mind that they're going to say, oh yeah, shipping times. And a lot of times that has a lot to do with Amazon nowadays, where you're getting packages in 1-2 days, same day, even some cases with Prime delivery. And that puts an unrealistic expectation on the e-commerce market as a whole. Now, I'm not saying that we can't try to bump up our standards to those that have set the bar, Amazon. But, then again, if I ship something out to a customer and it takes 5 days during normal processing and handling time from USPS, then that's not a bad thing either, especially if I tell the customer ahead of time that that's coming. So if I scroll down here to this is going to pull up my ads activity tab. And you can see some of the recent ads that I have interacted with, right? So if I come over here, I can hit this drop down and I can instantly say I'm satisfied, neutral, or dissatisfied. I'm not going to go into these fields, but let's say that I'm satisfied with this guy. And then here is exactly what I was talking about. Product quality, shipping speed, customer service, or something else. I'm not going to answer any of these because I don't want to affect this advertiser's deal. But then I can, here's this. We're glad you had a great experience. I didn't tell it what I didn't have. So I think that Facebook is is making assumptions that they shouldn't. I didn't necessarily say I had a great experience. They're just assuming that I did because I didn't tag anything on the previous screen. So I don't fully agree with this system yet, but this is what people are seeing, and they're seeing it right in their timeline. I think that these surveys are putting kind of the onus on the buyer to find something bad in the purchase. So when it asks them, it says, were you dissatisfied with the speed of shipment? Were you dissatisfied with the quality of the item? Were you dissatisfied with customer service, or was it something else? Again, that's putting a lot of onus on the customer to find something bad in their shopping experience, and it might not just be there. So these are things that we really, really, really have to look out for if we are sending traffic to our e-commerce store by way of Facebook. I'm not saying that Facebook advertising is a negative thing in any shape or form. We do it all the time, and we get really good results. But Facebook is under a lot of pressure to have positive customer and just people, community experiences on their platforms. And the real reason for this is because they are starting to scale their checkout option, their own native checkout option on both Instagram and Facebook. So they really want to make sure that their sites, their platforms are or feel trustworthy to their people. They want to eliminate bad shopping experiences. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. And I appreciate it to a certain point. But I think as advertisers, that just means that we need to be fully aware of these things, make sure that we're stepping up our game on customer service, make sure that we're not shipping out or selling crappy products, and make sure that our shipping times are, up to speed, or at least really, really let the customer know what the shipping time and expectation is going to be right up front, and not try to hide it behind some other benefit or whatnot of your e-commerce store. So what happens is, if you as a seller and a Facebook advertiser mainly start to develop a score. So let me jump into how they score you. So Facebook is scoring you based on feedback from these surveys, anywhere from a 5, which is great, down to a 1, and actually below a 1. And what happens is, if you fall in and below the 2 range, between 2 and 1, then what happens is, and you can see here on the screen, I have a little screenshot of this, and not everybody is going to be able to see this yet. It's only kind of getting rolled out on select advertisers. But what happens is, if you're at a 1.6 like this shows, then your ad costs start to go up, and the amount of reach of your ad starts to shrink until you can get this above a 2. Now, what happens if it goes below a 1? Well, this is what happens. Your account can get suspended and terminated, just like it did to this member of this group that I'm a part of. They sent this screenshot in, and their account has now been terminated. Facebook is now terminating accounts for dipping below a 1 and not taking measures to try to improve it. So that's sad for them. I think they could have done things to really kind of bolster results. Maybe had better customer service, maybe had better everything. Clearly, if you're below a 1, you don't want to drop below a 1. So I hope that this video really kind of gave you some good insight on the fact that the police are coming, and the police are watching. The Facebook police are watching. So make sure you're doing everything above board with respect to Facebook, and really everything that you do with your e-commerce business, because it is a business and you have to treat it as such if you want to have long-term sustainable growth in this industry. If you got good value out of this video, then let me know by liking this video, and also subscribe to the channel so that you can stay notified of all the videos that I put out on e-commerce, affiliate marketing, and making money online. As always, I will see you on the next one.